Welcome to The Life of Hair. My name's James Atkinson. Thank you for joining me in this week's episode. Now, this week's episode is something that I've done in the past. It proved to be fairly popular, and that is where I watch somebody else's hair video and we just talk a little bit about what's going on and maybe my thoughts and feelings on how they're going about the way they're doing that person's hair. Good, bad, and indifferent, basically. It's just about giving a different perspective rather than the one that came across in the video. So this week's video features Jessi from JZ Styles, a great channel, done exceptionally well with growing her channel. Had a baby recently, judging by her recent videos, so obviously that's taken up a lot of her time, but is still producing content, so big up to you for doing that. It's very, very difficult to get those things in line. So a very, love the channel, love what she's done. Admirable to have grown her channel to, I think, about 174,000 subscribers or something. So brilliant work. But this particular video caught my eye, took my interest. I'm going to make a few of these during the lockdown period. I am very much looking forward to creating some more of these videos. I really like making them, and it seems like people really like watching them. So do let me know down in the comments section if you enjoy this style of video. I appreciate it's a change, maybe a nice change from the usual tutorial style videos. Here in the UK, we are in lockdown at the moment, so I'm going to try and produce a little bit more content for you guys here on YouTube, maybe some lives. If you want to see some lives, let me know in the comment section as well. Apart from that, not a lot else to say, apart from remember, guys, do me that massive favor, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, comment, watch the video for as long as you can, watch the adverts for as long as you can. All of those things will massively help my my YouTube algorithm score, and it's just your way of helping me in return and me helping you vice versa. And a huge thank you, as always, to my Patreons who help support me in ways that I would have never imagined when I started this journey. Coronavirus has hit the brakes again on the Digital Hair Academy, so don't worry about that. I'm really excited to bring you that, and it's definitely going to be in the new year now. I was hoping to surprise you all for Christmas for that, but it's not going to happen now. It's definitely going to be towards the end of January. So with that said, thank you very much for your time as always, and I shall see you again in another episode of The Life of Hair. This isn't really part of the video, but it's something that I thought I'd just ask you whilst it's playing. Do you like intros, or do you think it just slows down you get into the content? I mean, I do an intro. It's not like this, it's an intro where I say, what's in the video and thank everybody for your support. But just a question, do you like intros? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to pass it over to Jess now. She's going to tell you a little bit about what she's doing.
Hi you guys, so for today's video we are doing a really fun transformation. This is my sister Bailey. As you can see here, she has really dark hair. I would say about a level 3 or 4 in, and we are wanting to go pretty light today. We are aiming for like a blonde silver tone, so if you are interested in watching this transformation, stay tuned. Also, I know that I look like crap. I just got a spray tan, so don't mind my appearance today. It's an off day and we're just here to do hair, so if you're interested in watching this, stay tuned.
So she has got her sister's hair to do, and she's going to do a colour remover. Now, this is a remover that I'm not particularly au fait with, although I have used Scruples in the past. A very interesting brand, probably a bit ahead of its time really in a lot of ways. But this is called Colour Delete. Now, look, here's my thoughts on colour removers. To remove a hair colour, effectively, we have to dissolve the colour existing. So that is usually done by the product being fairly alkaline and going in and breaking down the colour molecules by dissolving them effectively. So I never really use colour removers as such, because I always feel like they don't exactly do what they say they're going to do on the tin. Does that make sense? They're like, how do I describe this? So you've got like Ephesaur and you've got CB15 by whoever and all these different colour removers. But for me, it's purely got to be an alkaline hair colour dissolver. And therefore, it's got to be a bit like bleach. I don't know. If someone can point me in the direction of something that isn't alkaline, that can remove colour, I would love to hear about it. But until then, I'm always sceptical as to why we don't just use bleach. So that's my thoughts on colour removers. So saturation with these techniques, guys, paramount. I mean, if we look at the section you can see right now, the saturation of that section is as I expected it to look, to be fair, because as she was applying those sections, they were quite thick and she really wasn't moving the hair side to side to get the saturation even. So as you can see at the basin now, it's really, really uneven saturation. She's gone in now with bleach and a blonde wash. And as I said previously, I'm not really entirely sure why, you know, I mean, look, we all believe in what we believe in. I totally get that. But this is how I'd have started the process. Personally, I'd have just gone in with the blonde wash straight away at the backwash and worked on the ends and taken away the colour that way, more than likely. Now, don't mix your blonde washes with water, guys. It's really, really not the answer. And I'll explain why. Because bleach powder is alkaline and water is pH 7, you are mixing something that is a higher pH than peroxide. Peroxide usually 3-ish realms, to bring down the pH of the alkaline powder to something more, you know, akin to the quality of the hair, 4.5 to 5.5. But if you mix it with water, and that's why when you do a blonde wash with water, hair feels like death afterwards. It feels gritty and hard and dry. It's just not the answer, trust me. You need to make sure that you're doing your blonde washes actually as she has done. She's mixed shampoo, she's mixed bleach powder, and she's mixed peroxide together. That's how she did hers. That's exactly how I do mine. But mixing bleach and water together, the alkalinity is way too high, just blowing those cuticles to smithereens. Please don't do it. So having been at the backwash, this is the result. At the root hair area here, you can see she's very fair naturally, and it has been lifted to blonde basically. And that is because of the blonde wash technique. It's very loose, it's very sloppy, but she didn't get that around the front hairline. So she's now created herself a new challenge. She's got very light roots, she's got very dark front. Probably not the best application of that blonde wash. But look, she's a great hair colorist, she'll sort it out. But try not to do things like that to yourself, guys. Now, the other thing is that she's bleaching on wet hair. Is that okay? You tell me. Look, the reality is that if you're going to bleach on wet hair, that hair that you are bleaching has got water in it, and therefore you are lowering the strength of the peroxide, but you're increasing the pH of the hair. So it's not designed to go on hair, obviously, that's wet, but that's just something to be aware of, just so you can think about these things, you know, from a scientific standpoint. Anyway, I really agree with how she's tackled the first phase of her sister's hair. This is one phase of a journey. And so what she's done is she's done the hair colour remover, which I wouldn't bothered with. I'd have probably just gone in with the blonde wash. She's done a blonde wash. Then she's gone in and she's packed in the highlights through the parting. Great idea, guys. Do not make too much work for yourself when you're doing these techniques. It's really, really, really challenging to get these techniques, you know, to work at the best of times. And in this particular instance, she's just packed them in and then she's done a little root shadow on the rest of it. And then she's toned it, as you can see now. And, you know, doing that was a really, really smart move on her behalf. And saying to your client, look, there's only so much we can do to your hair in this particular instance is really, really important. Do not hem yourself into doing loads of work, over-promising, underachieving, clients unhappy, all that jazz. Just do what you can. So this is a two-part video in one, because she then brings her sister back in, and this is the follow-up, taking her on a bit further. and it was all done in one video. She does actually mention in the video that she potentially would have made 2 videos out of it. I personally would have done, because it makes for quite a long video, as you can see by my video. Free pouring versus weighing. Now, we've all got our own opinions. We've all do our own thing. However, if we free pour, that is not following the manufacturer's guidelines, number 1. And number 2, we'd never know quite how strong that product was if we need to remix, which we should be doing as we work through. So free pouring isn't the most sensible option. I'm not going to go into exactly why right now, because I'm going to make a video on it during lockdown. So you'll see that very, very soon. But try and avoid free pouring. Follow the manufacturer's guidelines. Now, she's going to baby light her way through this hair now. Great idea. Highlights are always probably my preferred way of finishing a colour correction. Working from those mass colour techniques like, you know, scalp bleaching, blonde washing, those kind of things, and working your way into highlights. That is my preferred choice when I'm going from very dark colour into blonde. So I'm totally with her here. Great job. And then what she's done then is with the ends of the hair in between each of the sections, left out some ends in between and then teased and painted the ends and saturated the bleach onto the ends. She's using 20 volume on the foils at the ends of the hair and 30 volume where it's darker at the roots, and she's also using 30 volume on the ends of these sections. She says it's because she's going to rinse them off sooner, and so therefore she can use a higher volume. Yeah, why not use a higher volume, especially if it isn't going to be on just as long. Remember, the less time the hair is alkaline, the less damage you'll do. So you can use higher volumes on weaker areas or blonder areas, providing it's not going to be on as long as, say, a lower volume. Does that make sense? You can use 10 volume and leave it on much longer and create the same amount of damage as you would as if you used 30 volume and you took it on and off. So that's what she's doing here, and I really, you know, like doing that method myself. I actually did a video on doing this particular technique. You can go to my playlists on my channel and click on the Korean videos and it will be on there. I might even link it at the end of this one just so you can go ahead and watch it straight afterwards. She moves to the front hairline, and as you can see, it's really, really dark around the front hairline. And obviously, that's indicative of what happened with the blonde washing situation at the beginning of the video, where she had the really light crown area, and then she had that dark halo around the front hairline. You know, she's fixing it, so it's all good. And it didn't look too bad in the beginning. As long as these things get sorted and the clients don't mind, then it doesn't really matter. But again, she's doing exactly what she did, and she's working her way diagonal backwards up the head towards the crown area, doing that 30 volume at the root area and 40 volume, no, wrong, 30 volume at the root area and 20 volume on the ends. So, you know, I think the way that Jessi's approached this really resonates with how I would approach it. There's no easy way. You know, people have got like loads of different ways of colour correcting hair. There's no like shortcuts with these kind of things. There's no kind of like, you know, don't pass go, don't collect £200, you know, shortcut snakes and ladders. You have to just go through the process. And so for me, you know, Jess has done a wonderful job of going through that journey. There's steps in it, obviously, where she lightened the roots. I'd really have tried to avoid lightening those roots, and I would have really have tried to avoid leaving that dark band at the front if I had got bleach on the roots at the back there. But you know what, is here nor there. We all do things when we're in a corrective journey that we think, oh, I would have done that differently, because that's the nature of the job. You know, we're reactive in a lot of ways in these situations rather than predictive, you know, because things happen as we go through the techniques, as we go through the journey that we can't predict. We have to be honest about that with our clients, that we are not mind readers, but we are simply here to try and help them to get to where they want to be. And we could face things that we didn't know were going to happen. Guy Tang says it. He calls it paranormal hair activity. Look, it happens to everybody. We need to be aware of it, and we need to be upfront about it, because there are anomaly factors when we're doing hair. There's things that happen that we cannot legislate for. things go on where, you know, we can make all the good preemptive decisions in the world, but things happen. And when they happen, right there and then, we need to tell the client about them right there and then, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent. So that's my thoughts, you know, in terms of managing the client, because I've done it myself. I'll hold my hands up and say, look, things have gone a bit south, and I've not told the client straight away, and I've tried to sort of cover it, hide it, bend it, flex it, to just get on with the job, you know, and not have that awkward conversation. But ultimately, I've paid for those moments, generally speaking. Should have just said, you know what, actually, this has happened, you know, blah, blah, blah. And the client's usually fine about it. You know, we live and we learn. So, Jess has got her colour on now, looks great. And she has absolutely stacked it full of foils. But let's just put her under heat. Now, obviously in Europe, I don't think, you know, we don't really put people under heat specifically. I know over in America, putting people under heat is pretty normal. Don't get me wrong, I've done it. But putting people under heat can be dangerous, especially if it's the second time round, because the heat really kicks up the power.
Okay, you guys, I officially fail at filming this video when it comes to toning. I don't know what happened, but I lost the footage of toning her here too. So I will just explain what I did on her base. I did 4N in shades again, but I added a little 5NA just to counteract any warmth that we had. And this is me doing the toner right here. And I did a 7P, 9B, 9P, 8N, 8V, and I think a little 8T. Honestly, when it comes to kicking warmth with tones like this, you just got to mix up a cocktail and hope for the best. I definitely added cooler tones in to help counteract the warmth, but then I had a little bit of N just to neutralize it so it didn't go too muddy.
Okay. So you heard she didn't film the toner part. I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. You know, we just forget to film parts in our videos, especially when I'm doing my clients, you know, because I'm really trying to focus sometimes on getting the client's hair done. Anyway, you know, so that's all good. But toner-wise, a really, really interesting combination of toners. That's what I like to call throwing the kitchen sink at it. She just put every cool tone from Redken Shades EQ that you could possibly get into one bowl and popped it on her sister's hair and watched it process. Do I agree with that? Well, it's worked for sure because her hair looks nice, but is it an accurate way of getting what she wanted out of it? The most accurate way would be to take her sister out the basin and dry her hair, see exactly what she's got from the result, and then tone it according to what she sees. Because let's be honest, you know, if she's got orange yellow, then a blue violet will suffice on level, you know. So she's clearly lifted it to a level 8, but judging by what's coming up, she does put extensions in it, which kind of confuses the situation for me. She didn't take any pictures prior to the extensions, so it's difficult to see which bits are extensions and which bits are kind of the hair that she's lifted. But I think the level 8 bits that are next to the extensions are probably what she's achieved. So I would say, you know, if she'd have lifted it, you know, to that level and then decided that she's got that, you know, orange yellow tone, then going in with obviously T would have been fine. There's the new shade VB. P's a bit soft because it's a pearl shade, and pearl is always a bit softer than T. T is more blue violet orientated. So look, that's my thoughts on it. Going for that kind of kitchen sink approach, put everything in and hope for the best, fills me with fear, because you just don't know what you're going to get, really, in all truthfulness. She put a bit of N in there to stop it going muddy, she said. I would have put a bit of G in there to stop it going muddy. N is quite cool too, but just, you know, personal opinions and thoughts, really. And that's why I wanted to, that's why I like making these videos. It's just to give you a different perspective. Anyway, on with the video.
All right, you guys, this is the final result. I'm so obsessed with it. What do you guys think? After years and years and years of her being dark, we are finally blonde again, and I'm so happy about it. Who thinks she looks like Dakota Fanning? Because I think so. Yes. So basically what we did, you guys saw the process.
Add this in at 14 minutes and 52 seconds. So there she is, job done. I think the extensions make it look superb. I'm not sure how it would have looked without the extensions. Anyway, that's, you know, it doesn't matter. She's got extensions in. It looks fantastic. I did, just like I said, personally, I'd love to have seen it without the extensions in. But anyway, who am I to comment on whether she has extensions or not? It's up to the client, and that's her sister. So wonderful job. Her hair looks amazing after 2 sittings, so her sister's thrilled. I'm sure any client would be happy with this result. Her sister's obviously got very, very strong hair. It's had quite a lot of processes in a short amount of time. She did add Olaplex to all of this, she said along the way, and I didn't actually play the clip where she said she added Olaplex and so therefore it wouldn't break the hair. But again, I don't know whether it's stateside you have a different form of Olaplex to us over here, but it seems to be that it absolutely makes the hair bomb-proof, because in all of the YouTube videos that I watch from the US, it's, you know, put Olaplex in there and just don't worry about the hair, go for gold. Anyway, it is one of those things where we do need to kind of, you know, it's an insurance policy, you know, but it's not a miracle worker either. So I have got some videos that I'd like to make about that very, very soon. Definitely going to be out in lockdown. A couple of details that I need to finalize on bonders. It's very difficult to get very concise information from some manufacturers as well. But anyway, I've got a card up my sleeve to hopefully finish that video off. So yeah, wonderful. Great job, Jessi. If you're watching this, thank you for your videos. Thank you for your time, everybody. And I hope you enjoyed this last little clip at the end with the finished result. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you again very, very soon for another episode of Life of Hair.